Y'all check this out.
Now, this might sound weird to y'all, but as a gay person, I'm not interested in dating just another gay person. I'm interested in dating a queer person, and there is a real experience difference between the two. Someone who is so radically in love with existing outside of heteronormativity that doing life in untraditional gender roles is the expectation. Straight people argue every 3 to 5 business days on who's going to pay 50-50 on the first date. They shame women for expecting men to pay, and the women shame the men for not having the money to do so. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in someone who wants to show up and just be their authentic self. Fuck the straight agenda. No one asked, but I think as queer people, we have the unique disposition to make our own rules in the dating market. Don't copy that shit they're doing over there. It's not even working for them. That's just my opinion. You can have a different one. As I always say, I'm in a constant state of practice, and so are you. You can never fail when you're in a constant state of practice. I love y'all. Get y'all a queer man. It'll change your life.
Isn't that what dating is? Oh, isn't that what dating is supposed to be? Dating in our culture is hard. We fight through looks and mannerisms and positions and sexualities and so much more just in hopes to find a man that thinks of us as much as we think of them. But does dating have to be hard? Or does queer culture make it needlessly more difficult than it needs to be? Tonight, we're asking why is dating black men so hard on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, and the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It's Monday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is your midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men and love black gay men. My last relationship ended 3 times. The first time was because I was insecure. I'll admit that. The second time was because he was impatient. And the third time was because I never invested myself back into the relationship after the first 2 attempts. It takes a lot to see the dating process through to its hopeful end. Self-awareness is probably at the top of the list. So tonight, I'm asking the DBGN family to pull on our self-awareness. Each of us has to ask ourselves, are we the drama? I ask that all the time. Is dating actually hard, or do we make it that way? And as always, if you've got an opinion on the topic, join me live on the show by going to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. You do not have to show your face, but you definitely got to add your voice to the conversation. The link is pinned in the comments. But first, it is time for church announcements. Hit it. Every week, I write about the ups and downs of my dating journey on our blog on Substack. It's a deep dive into the sexual trials and my emotional trials while I manifest my man in 2025. You can join for free by clicking the screen, or the link is in the description. What do you do while you're single? For a lot of us, single is just the gap between relationships. I have a friend who is so relationship oriented that he hasn't spent more than a month single in the last 10 years. But the older I get, the more I realize that single is a superpower. It's the special time of your dating life where you have the opportunity to do whatever the fuck you want. So during your next single season, ask yourself these 3 questions, which is exactly what I'm asking myself now. Number 1, how long you gonna be in that hoe phase? Hoe phases are important. After a season of being inside with your boo, the hoe phase helps you wipe the slate clean and clear space for whatever you're going to do next. Keep in mind that the whole phase doesn't have to be sexual. It could be a rebound or a new friendship. Sever the tie with the old guy by connecting with the new one, or several. Then number 2, what do I say hell yeah to? One of my good friends told me that when he makes a decision, if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. What goal are you excited about achieving? What milestone lights you up? And who are you excited to see regularly? What about your single life gets a hell yeah? Then lastly, number 3, what gets a no? Our integrity is tied to what we say no to when we have every opportunity to say yes. You could fuck that man's man. You could lie to someone that's close to you. We all know a fuckboy who couldn't do right if it dushed, bent over, and slid back on his dick. Our single season is when we build our integrity, because the next chapter, the one when you found that good man who treats you right, it'll depend on you having a clean slate, a whole lot of integrity, so you can give them a hell yeah. Follow for more dope queer stories. The easiest way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members only chat, behind the scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. And a portion of your memberships will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit providing HIV prevention and care in Black gay culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. For all the latest updates, follow me everywhere on socials at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly, and we will be right back. The show got good. I thought I was spicy vanilla, but tonight I've learned I'm deep into the extremist end of the kink freak spectrum. Then it got even better. He nutted, then asked me if he could pee in me, and I was nervous. What did it feel like? But it felt good. Live from the back room every Thursday on YouTube. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Usually I come to the show with a whole bunch of answers or a video. This episode I have several of both. Because I'm very curious what we got to say. Let's go through some of the comments. Robin Arian says, I like that. Hell yeah. Hey Robin, with your good hair. Silk presses are in for men. Panthro said, you on time, friend. Rolando said, hey, hi, holla at your work. What I'm curious about is, do y'all meet each other like in real life? Like, has anybody like been like, oh, I'm in New York, you in New York, let's meet up? I'm very curious because we have one big happy family here on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. And I'm starting to get the people saying, oh, do you have a podcast? Yeah, I do. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And then they'll, jump off into a conversation. I gotta drive to SC at 5 a.m. for work. South Carolina, where are you coming from? Where is everybody from? That's a good question to start the conversation. Panthro said, preach it. Oh, amazing open monologue. Thank you so much. I guess it is a little bit of an opening monologue. I'll start thinking of it that way. Winter Minute says, I have two friends. I too have friends that haven't been single literally since I met them. I, on the other hand, have been single for years. It's reflective and kind of fun. I believe the single is your superpower, friends, if you let it be. But I think that some of us in our culture, and this probably does get into the conversation today, some of us in our culture are so scared of being single because we don't know who we are. And so if I'm stuck all day, every day with myself and I don't know who I am, then it feels like I'm talking to a stranger. I'm sleeping with a stranger. And the irony is, Black gay culture, we sleep with a whole lot of strangers. John C said, what up, Jay? What up, though? Rolando DD still says the best commercial ever, cuz peeing in it. Jay, the shirt needed in my life. This shirt says, I'll move the comment. It says, black men, give black men their flowers. And then the back is flowers. It was a birthday gift from my sister. It was a birthday gift. John C says, Aiken. I've been to Aiken. My ex, not the one I was just talking about, but my ex, his mama lives in Aiken. He from Allendale, South Carolina, in the Low Country. I just been out on a date with somebody who is from upstate South Carolina, High Country, upstate. I couldn't tell you what city, but he from the High Country. Robin said Brick City. Official E says LA all the way. Okay, I'm gonna be vulnerable. Where is Brick City? Because in my head, like, we had the bricks in Flint, and I'm gonna feel really dumb if Brick City is like Detroit. I'm gonna feel really, really dumb. Benjamin Johnson said, hey family. J926 is from Jersey. We got a couple people from LA. Official E and Marlo are in LA. I'm assuming that those LAs mean Los Angeles and not Louisiana. Rolando says, I'm in the city of sin, but raised in LA. Wicked Fresh says, single and searching. I really do believe that y'all man is probably in the chat. Y'all man is in the chat if you look for him, but that's just me. Okay. Remember, if you've got an opinion on the topic, you can join us right here on Dear Black Gay Men podcast just by going to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. You can join me right here to chop it up about whatever we're talking about. I'm going to be reacting to some reels because I have some opinions about a couple things, and I need y'all to weigh in. So I'm gonna be asking a whole bunch of questions. Y'all tap into the conversation because it's gonna be good. It's about to get good. Here we go. Here's the first one. Check this out.
We need people who want to learn how to fix cars, and we need people who want to be stern, unequivocal tops. In this season, my God.
Pause. Is it a top drought? Let me know in the chat. Is it a top drought? The reason why I ask is because when we lead Winter Menace made this critique last week, and it really resonated with me. When we lead with sexuality, with sexual position, are we inviting dating hardship? I just wonder. I just wonder, is it a top drought because we are over sexualizing some things? Because that was a topic of conversation last week. I mean, is it a top drought? Robin RN says yes. Rolando says no. Marlo, is that? Yes, it's Marlo. Marlo says no. Lord, here we go. No, it's not a top drought. Okay, so the bigger question is, do we? I think this is like, a rhetorical ass question, but do we put too much emphasis on sexual position when it comes to the dating process? Cause honestly, I don't think while I do think we have talked about sex a lot, I don't think I haven't come to the conclusion of, do we put too much emphasis on sexual position, because sex at some point becomes a big deal. Sex it is an expression of intimacy and connection, or at least it can be. And am I wrong? Am I wrong for wanting to make sure our puzzle pieces fit together it, very early? Because I think you can make the argument that when you emphasize sexual position, you are also trying to figure out, are we going to work in the long run? And as I said that, you know what I'd be thinking? Most of my friends who have been in relationship for years and years and years, honestly, this is most of the colleagues that I have that have been in relationship. Either they get more one position or the other because that works for them. One person becomes more top, one person becomes more bottom, and that vibe just works for them. Or everything is just versatile. How we have sex depends on whose water is clean first or something like that. Like, the funny thing, I'll tell you a story. So I was talking to a friend of mine. He has been married for 20 years. Beautiful family. He and his husband have 2 children. They take care of his mother at times, but they have a magnificent life, right? I respect them. 20 years ago, when the person I'm thinking of was in his 30s, I would wager that, or he's told me that sexual position even then wasn't that big a deal. He said, can you cook? Whisper in my ear. Tell me you're proud of me. Like, the things that gave their relationship staying power have nothing to do with who's doing the bending. Nothing. Not a single thing to do with who's doing the bending. And then the irony is, the longer that I know them, the less that I even care about which one of them is the top or the bottom. Because I know a whole bunch of people who are interested in that, interested in understanding like the sexual dynamics of other people's relationships. I know a lot of people who are interested in those things, and I'm just like, well, why does that matter? They're not fucking you. They're not courting you. They're not inviting you in anything. So why would who's top and who's bottom in someone else's relationship even matter? Antoine McAlvin said yes, but it depends on both. Hold on. J926 says, yes, we do. It's crazy how the community equates sexual positions with regular human tasks like fixing a car. You know, the fun fact, I prefer, and this has nothing to do with sexual position. I like a man who is a mashup of a whole bunch of things. Like, I dated one guy and he had, I think I've said this, like he had long acrylic nails and carried a bag, and I qualify himself as feminine, but he had this deep baritone voice. He had the thickest, fullest, prettiest beard. He was a bus driver, so he was, changing tires, changing batteries. He was savvy around the car, and just the mashup of all of those things just made me lust after him. Now, granted enough, he and I were together, so lusting after him was appropriate. But just the blend of what people would say is socially masculine tasks or features with also with feminine qualities, which is why I like butch queens, because every single butch queen is like a snowflake. They will figure out what part of the masculinity works for them, what part of the femininity works for them, and put it together so it's just them. Like I just recently went out on a date with this dude. He wears like a full beat, like a full face of makeup, and I appreciate that. I respect it. He can paint down, right? He looks good. But in addition to that, he is very savvy with his pay with he's an accountant. He is very savvy with his money. Like he has these very feminine qualities that where a lot of people will call him femme, but he also has this very masculine expression. He can take care of the house. He can make sure and take care of the house, meaning like make sure the lights stay on, make sure the bills is paid. He's got, as far as I know, he's as close as possible to debt free. He manages his credit cards with like it the mashup of it just makes me so excited. I be thinking that like put it all together and give me the whole thing. For me, what I've learned is the people that I am attracted to appreciate the fact that I am smart, but also I got a big body, but also got this high pitched voice, and I paint my fingernails every once in a while, and it's all the things. But the irony is I don't equate any of that to sexual role, because I don't think any the mashup of how my masculine and feminine expresses doesn't give what I do sexually. It doesn't give how like if you inferred my sexual position based on how I express, then you'd probably be off base. But one thing I will tell you is these little bush queens that are like dainty and demure, they like rubbing on this belly. I don't give a damn how much my how painted my nails are or what the case may be. They like rubbing on this belly and I love it. I love it. But again, that's just me. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what Dominique got to say.
I understand the diverse girls are out here. I want to respect the sides, as a elder bottom girly, absolutely. But we we can't maintain the recipes without. I mean, a half sandwich is cute, right? A sandwich with a bottom piece of bread and a snack on top is cute. But a sandwich with a top piece and a bottom piece, my God, on today.
Okay. So let me come back here because I think that this particular perspective is um limiting. Let me use that term, limiting, because I really, really like Dominique Morgan. I think she is so fucking spot on with so much of her commentary. And perhaps she is speaking from her perspective because she had said in there, she says she's an elder bottom. Got it. And so like for her, the best combination of these things is one top with one bot or tops and bottoms. But my concern is that only works when you hooking up. Like that equation, that view of the world, seeing the world through that lens only works when the extent of what you're offering or trying to receive is sex. I think that when you allow yourself when you're trying to become dateable, I think that the hard part about it is expanding your horizons to be able to see a whole person. And the irony is I think that we've said that many times. And I don't know that our culture is equipped. That might be one of the reasons why it's so hard to date us, because I don't know if our culture is equipped to see a whole black man. I don't know if our culture is equipped to see nuance and dynamics and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I don't know if that is black culture, because I do know that in black culture there are a whole lot of men, a whole lot of women and men who want these very, very binary roles in relationships. They want men to pay for shit and women to be dainty and demure and submissive. They want, just like in queer culture, we want tops to be the aggressor and bottoms are the prize. And I think that we relegate that conversation to being over sexualized, but really, I think the foundation of it is we are not set up to see a whole black man. We are only set up as human beings in a white supremacist society to see pieces of a man. Like, I only see the pieces of you that apply to my life. If I am feminine, that means I only want to see the masculine parts of you and then pay the rest. If I'm dating, I only want to see the relationship oriented parts of you and pay the rest. If I am trying to fuck you, then I only want to see the parts of you that are going to fit with me, and then everything else I discard. And the unfortunate part about that is it leaves us all broken. It leaves every single one of us broken. Uh all that chocolate as they should, Jay. I think. I think that was talking about the belly rubbing part. Thanks, Benjamin. Uh, Rolando and Winter Minutes are having a debate. I can't go all the way back, so I'm gonna let y'all have that one. But official E said, "I think we got to get away from the mask fem thing. It's all made up and heteronormative. We are better than that. I agree, we are better than that. But I think that underscore that goes hand in hand with what I'm saying is we only see the pieces of black men that apply to our lives. We only see the pieces of the puzzle that fit well with what we give. And so for a lot of us, if I see myself as feminine, then I only want your masculinity. I don't want your femininity. I don't want your professionalism. I don't want your social skills. All I see myself as is feminine, then all I see you as is masculine or not. And I think to Winter Minute, because Winter Minutes and I had I wouldn't call it a debate. We did have a conversation on the show about if all that culture is over sexualized. But I think that a component of that is if all I see myself as is a bottom, then all I want to see you as is you're either a top or not. And any whiff of less than the definition of top that I've cooked up in my head means that you are not enough. And the unfortunate part about it is queer culture, black queer culture, exacerbates these norms of broken men all the time. We create space for brokenness because we only allow men to give pieces of themselves to others. We only allow ourselves to accept pieces of men and wonder why we all stay broken. Winterman has added, we also don't know how to consume each other in doses, each other, each. in doses, get to know people in layers. I agree. Layers or pieces or all the things. I think of all of us as puzzles, and it takes a special somebody to try to put all these pieces together, right? So I can take the piece, so I can see the piece and see also how it fits into a broader layer, a bigger tapestry of who you are. But I don't think that our culture is just set up to see black men. We can, we can limit it to gay men because we're on Dear Black Gay Men podcast, but I don't think culture is just set up to see black men as whole people. I don't think any piece of black culture is set up to see black men as whole people. Because the irony is, and this happened to me, I was in I tell y'all, I went to like a protest. It was an actual protest. Went to a protest. I'm standing next to this girl, and she and I are there. This was following. It's unfortunate that I can't remember if it was Philando Castile. I can't remember, but we were protesting someone who was needlessly unalived by the police. And so, there were protests all across the country. I went to the one at the time in Dallas. Was I in Dallas or was I here? Those are insignificant details. I'm standing next to this girl. She and I connect because, we standing next to and we're listening to the speakers and all the things. We follow each other on Instagram. She was fighting for the lives of black men in the protests. The lives of black men needlessly slain by the hands of police. She was fighting for that. I leave the protest, follow her, go back, and her timeline is book, chapter, and verse of gay men. Is it gay for men to insert some stupid ass remark? Is it gay for men to fall asleep while they homeboy driving in the car? Is it gay for so girl, you can fight for my life as long as you protesting. But when it actually takes you to see me as a whole person, all you were trying to do is figure out if he gay. Which is why I think like it's hard for people to see black men as whole people. And more importantly, in black culture, it is hard for us to accept that somebody is what they say they are. And you can talk about gender or sexuality or all the things. Like it's hard for us to accept a straight man who doesn't fit our definition of what straight should look like. It's hard for us to accept a masculine man if he doesn't fit our definition of masculine. And it's hard for us to accept a top if he doesn't fit our definition of top. Which is why, again, if we only see niggas in pieces, why the fuck are you so surprised when everybody around you's broken? We are we are cultured to be pieces of ourselves all day, every day. All day, every day. We are cultured to only be pieces of ourselves and wonder why we stay broken. It's so interesting to me. But let's keep going. Let's see what Dominique got to say.
If Subway sent you two bottom pieces of bread with your sandwich in between, you'd be like, well, girl, I mean, it's cute, but where the top piece? And over the last 20 years, the brain drain of tops, the Arby's drain, if you will, of tops, has been rough. And these new top niggas don't need to be topping. They need to be stopping. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. I mean, cute wordplay, but I think the unfortunate part about that perspective is, again, we only see men in pieces and wonder why the world stays broken. Rolando added, we all uphold the patriarchy to our detriment. Agreed. How Let Your Boy said, it's definitely a black thing. White men are feminine as hell and heterosexual. And more importantly, white men are feminine as hell and heterosexual and loved and affirmed and seen. Now I'm not gonna dwell on the white gaze, GAZE, but I will say that no, let me put this in in a black space. What I will say is in gay culture, and this is what oh, I forgot his name, the creator that I quoted at the top of the show. This is what he was saying about being queer. The relationships that I know that work, you just fall into a routine. The two people or more just fall into the routine of, this is what I do, this is what he does, and we just figure out a way to make it work. And that's the hardest part is figuring out a way to make it work with a person. And I don't know how else to express that or explain it. Now, granted enough, I ain't mastered it because my single ass, but I do think that the most interesting people are uh the most interesting relationships, the relationship with longevity is I found a man, he worked with me, and we just figured out a way to like make his piece fit with my piece. And I want that for us. I believe in that for all of us. I genuinely do. Okay, let's go to the next one.
A personal preference stops becoming harmless when it reinforces systemic bias. Yes, the femphobia is tied to misogyny. Femininity in men is completely lost the plot. In my video about mask for mask, not once did I deny it being a preference, nor did
Pause right there. Let me put it back on.
I attack anybody.
Pause right there. This person, ironically, not them specifically, because I don't want to single anybody out, but this is what I mean when I say I like how these things fit together. I like that I don't want to misgender, but I see someone who is presenting as a man. So let me just assume that it's a man. Fair. But I like how this fits together. Little young for my liking, but I like the fact that he doesn't mind having his lip gloss popping. He doesn't mind wearing his jewelry. He looks like he got good skin, all the things. I would bet money that his jeans are very tight or super loose or whatever. But the fact that he is all of that and smart as hell, oh God, that would give me everything I need. Like just a little, if he had like a little tongue pop with that light voice, oh my God. I enjoy the mashup of black men. And I think that is I hope that comes across as me trying to see a whole person. That you can be so many different things that pull from so many different experiences, and I want to affirm it like wholeheartedly. But again, that's just me. Keep going.
prefers that. As stated in that video, a personal preference stops becoming harmless when it reinforces systemic bias. Yes, the femphobia is tied to misogyny. Femininity in men is stigmatized because society devalues anything that is coded as female. When gay men discriminate, marginalize, and hate on feminine presenting men, they're not just choosing, they're actually reinforcing misogyny. Media often amplifies
Okay. Pause right there. Is femphobia fucking up the dating pool? I'm gonna stand by for some responses today. Is femphobia fucking up the dating pool? Purple Thursday said, I find that as gay black men, so many of us limit ourselves to sex related issues. I agree with that. I honestly think that so many of us limit ourselves to sex related everything because that is what we have the broadest language for. Even though there are words and terms that we don't use, I think our bodies just speak sex better than we speak everything else because we invest so much of ourselves in learning the language. We invest so much of ourselves in learning how to fuck good and not how to actually speak to somebody. We spend so much of ourselves learning how to, stroke or eat or suck or this or that, and not enough time investing in learning all the other schools of connection and intimacy. Uh, it's a whole bunch of new names in the chat. Shout out to y'all. Official E says yes, femphobia is fucking everything up. I agree. I think femphobia is straight out of the pits of hell. Mr. H says the only people feeling that way are femmes. Really? Wait, what way are you talking, Mr. H? Well, the only people feeling what way? Let me know what the antecedent is. Master's degree word. But let me know what you're talking about, Mr. H. Rolando DD said it absolutely is. Winter Minute says yes, along with other things. I agree. Jay says yes, yes. Rolando DD added, femphobia is a disease and the shit needs to be dealt with. I think it needs to be excised like a cancer. Cut that shit out, throw it away like a tumor. Mr. H said, femphobia is insane. It's preference. People like what they like. I do think that, and the irony is the real that we're reacting to. This creator is talking a lot about the difference between preference and prejudice. And I do think that people interpersonally like what they like. But the unfortunate part about it is our culture, not society even, is just set up to glamorize masculinity. And so I think that, you know, if we do a deep dive, that a lot of this is us just saying, a lot of this is us reflecting back what culture has given us. Culture is saying, big men with deep voices and tall and dark and handsome and blah 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 are desired. So then anything that deviates from that is not. And if we say men are desired, then anything looking like a woman or like a feminine body is not desired. And that's fucked up. And I think we do that as a culture. We do that with how we receive women in general. Women should be, barefoot and pregnant in the house when really that house would not run well without a woman at the helm. I've seen a whole lot of men only homes and it just don't give what it's supposed to have been given. Official E says it's an expression of self-hatred. Straight men assume an automatic femininity in us and they can't exploit it or sexualize it, and we take that in our community. Agreed. Real shit with Darren T. Hey, real shit with Darren T. How many of us grew up being allowed to desire real love? Most of our introductions to our sexuality was through sex, not intimacy, not love. I absolutely agree with that, and that is along the lines of what I was saying just a second ago. Is that oftentimes we are just reflecting back what society has given us, society, our families, our culture, the systems that we grew up in, that we were raised in. We are reflecting that back. And so my gay debut was in porn. Fun facts, fun story. There was this website called studcollege.com. I bet you it probably still exists. But Stud College, I'm 14 years old. We just got a Ecos computer. This is Ecos back when, anybody could have made a computer. I mean, today, anybody can make a computer. But Ecos was this computer store in Michigan. We got an Ecos computer. We had 1,000 hours of America Online and a phone cord. And so I would wake up either really early in the morning during the weekend or stay up really late to log into the computer in the family room, this shared computer. And just like on TV, you would keep the previous button just in case, somebody walked into a room while you watching something you ain't supposed to. I would keep the mouse over the minimize, and then make sure, of course, I got to delete all the chat history and all of the cache and everything. But studcollege.com, and the only reason I would go there is because when I was searching, when I did an America Online search, because this was before Google, when I'm searching, Stud College is the only website that had a clip of men fucking and coming, and it was free. And so I watched that clip of those three pasty ass white men a million times, and I jizzed all over that computer desk. Fun fact, my family still has that desk. But it was so that was my debut. I didn't know anything about anything gay aside from these 3 men having a threesome. They were spit roasting. Dude in the middle that's a bottom is getting like fucked on one side, sucking dick on another. And but it was so white. Like I am appalled at how white this porn was and how it did something for me. God bless me discovering black porn. But yeah, I think that's what I got on that topic because of this comment, because he said most of our introductions to our sexuality was through sex. Mine specifically was with those 3 pasty ass white men in that basic ass porn. I gotta sneeze. In that basic ass porn, but I'm so glad I've been delivered. I do like men, but I've been delivered. Mr. H said the crazy thing is femmes don't want the femmes. I agree. And that is unfortunate because I will tell you this, a feminine man will change your life. A feminine man will just get your life together. Get your life together in different ways, but men who are feminine, oh God, I hope the Lord in the heaven protects fem men. They do not get the flowers. Even those black men, give black men their flowers. Even feminine men need their flowers because they just I just want everybody to appreciate them more. Uh Hold on. Wicked Fresh Media Group says, yes, there's misogyny in gay culture, but I can't help that I'm androsexual. I'm only into male presenting men, and I get unrequited attention from feminine men that sometimes get upset with me for it. When you say male presenting, are you saying like a man or are you saying like masculine presenting? Because if I express as a man, regardless of if I'm masc or femme, I am male. Like male is a anatomical term. So are you saying masculine presenting here, Wicked Fresh Media Group? And then let me also double tap there. Am I masculine to you? I will not get offended. Let me know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how masculine would you say I am from what y'all have seen me, how you see me navigate here? 1 is fishy, 10 is alpha dom top man. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how masculine am I? And I really want to hear from Rick and Fresh Media Group. Let me know. John C said homophobia is definitely a prejudice. Holla at your boy said people can have preference, but it's the disrespect for the non-preferential choice is the issue. I agree with that. I do. I think that it is very difficult. It is a fine line between preference and prejudice, but I've always said that I describe preferences. I like this. Like Wicked Fresh Media Group just said he's androsexual. I like this kind of presentation. I like this kind of person. I like this. And I think prejudice is I don't like that. Like I can be attracted to masculine presenting men, but the second that I start saying I don't like feminine presenting men, then that is a prejudice against femmes. Especially if it or I like tall men, that's great. But if I'm closed off to anybody that's not 6 foot or better, then that's a prejudice. I'm not saying that for me. I actually prefer men that are my size or shorter, but I have dated many men that are way taller than me, and it made for awkward cuddling, but it still felt good. Scale of 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10. 1 is super femme, 10 is super mask. What would you give me? Huh. Okay, Ricky Fresh Media Group said yes. again, I'm assuming that we are men. My intention is not to misgender anybody. But Winter Minute said I'm a 6 out of 10. I'll take that. And then he walked it back to maybe a 5. I don't know if I like your tone, Winter Menace, but thank you. I'm just kidding. Real shit with Darren T said like a 8. Official E said on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 4. 1 being femme, 10 being 1 is super femme, 10 is super mask. Official E said a 4. Robin said a 7. Marlo said a 7. Rolando said a 9 or a 10. Panthro said a 8. Calvin said a 7. Holla at your boy said a 6 or 7. J926 says based on your physical presentation, I would say an 8. Does physical presentation change? Like if I was 50 pounds skinnier, which I have been, would that change some of y'all's ratings? Let me know that in the comments. Wicked Fresh Media Group said 8.5, a solid 8. The solid 8 is because like I'm firmly 8. Eclair. Hey, Eclair. Been a minute. Dabble said, low key, anyone who can give a convincing suck daddy's dick is 10 out of 10. Okay. Can I take a sidebar down the sexual route real quick? I don't think, like, if I call myself daddy, I think it demeans daddy. Like, if I gotta tell you, call me daddy, then I'm not daddy. Maybe that's just me. Ironically, that's what we're gonna be talking about on Thursday. We're gonna be talking about black daddy versus white daddy, and we're gonna be unpacking a little bit of that. But if I say call me daddy because you don't call me daddy, then it means I'm not daddy. Like in my head, Deion Sanders said, if you gotta tell people that you're the man, you are confirming that you're not him. Same thing with daddy, same thing with sir. If I got to tell you to call me this, then you ain't it. The exception though is like people call me daddy when they date me, right? They call me daddy. At some point. Not every single one of them, but it comes up. And what I will tell them is when they call me daddy, I'll be in an off moment. I ain't gonna correct them in real time, but in a less sexually charged moment, I'll be like, okay, well, I prefer sir over daddy, but however it comes out, do you? I'm a respond to it either way. Panthro says yes. If you was thinner, yeah, you'd be a 5 or a 4. Fair. Again, I'm not offended by any of it. Let's keep going. I got one more. No, let's go back. Keep going.
Masculine gay couples as acceptable, while feminine ones are mocked and ignored. This doesn't happen in a vacuum. This shapes how the world treats all queer people. You see, what y'all are doing is mistaking critique for condemnation, when in reality, the target is not your desire, it's the distortion. Mask for mask is not the quiet whisper of attraction. It's the loudspeaker that can be rooted in bias that is dressed as taste. Very often, not only does it announce what you like,
I do think I need to like tap into these comments because y'all are y'all are saying some crazy shit in the comments. Not the fat phobia. Um, okay, that's a good comment. I'm gonna put a star next to that one because I wanna double tap on that. Official E says no, you ain't a daddy to me, but if you hitting it right, I'm calling you daddy. So what is a daddy? But then official E also says sir, yes sir. I'm thicker guys I think are daddies. That's a good one. That ranks up there. If you can tell me what to do, then you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do. I believe Jill Scott needs to put that on like a tablet somewhere as the New Testament, the New Covenant, the 10 Commandments. Because if you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. But if you can't tell me what to do, you can't tell me what to do. But for me though, um I am not that is not married to mannerism. Like you can be femme and tell me what to do and I'll do it. Just like you can be femme and be a daddy. You can be femme and be a sir. I can respect any however someone expresses. And I don't think and for me though, daddy, sir is not mannerism. It is assertive quality. I think you get daddy vibes from me when you can assert your perspective in a way that encourages me to submit. But anybody could do that. Anybody like I think I am a daddy because like I just had this conversation today. Not today, but recently. I don't argue. I refuse to argue with anybody for any reason, especially in a dating situation. I do not argue because if I argue with you, then what I'm saying is your perspective is even killed to mine. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that I got to fight anybody for anything. I'm in charge because I'm in charge. Like in this studio on Team DBGM, I'm in charge because I'm in charge. And how I wield that control, that assertive quality, that is what makes me daddy. I earn the right to be called daddy when I'm talking to people. I earn the right to have a daddy place in someone's life. I earn that. And I think that these young girls believe that you just, daddy because you got a deep voice and a big dick. And no one cares about that. If you can tell me what to do, you can tell me what to do. A lot of times people just be thinking that, whoever has the biggest meat is daddy, and that ain't it. That is so far away from it. Whoever is the most masculine or the tallest or the biggest or whatever, that is not it. I've had people that were way more masculine than me call me daddy before. But it's because the energy that I create, the way in which I earn their respect gives me a daddy quality to several people. Official E says daddy isn't film or mask. I could call Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air daddy if he's bringing the right energy. But Jeffrey from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was pretty masculine. He was British, but he was pretty masculine. And and the way he kept the house together, not just cleaning it, but the way he kept the house together, real tea. Master Mass is a cry for male camaraderie and the need to be accepted by the rules of masculinity. That's a big statement. I appreciate that. Panther says, yeah, I had a femme goth guy and he was DMing me down and I called him daddy and sir. How does daddy, if we take sex out of the equation, how do you identify a daddy? If you take sex out of the equation, how do y'all identify a daddy? Because I do think that a lot of people get confused thinking that daddy comes by way of good dick. And let me just reward his good dick by calling him daddy. But if we take that off the table, then how do we pinpoint what's a daddy and what's not? Let me know that in the chat. Hold on. Carlos, super chat from Carlos. Hey, Carlos. Appreciate you, Carlos, and that big hair. Love it. Winterman said, let the daddy nonsense go. It's kink language that got way out of hand. I don't know about that one. I think you can let it go. I think that's appropriate for you. but there's power in daddy for me. He was masculine, but he had a his little sassy moments. You talking about me? And see, J926, I'm so glad you said that. Masculine dominant take charge. The irony is, I do not take charge. Charge is given to me. Give you an example. I was communicating with this guy. We'll say it was date. And he was the type that my type is intelligent, my type is well spoken, my type is cultured and well traveled and all the things, right? And so we were talking in a conversation. And what the vibe that I got is he wants me to take charge. Take the charge from him and, let God be true quickly. What I told him is I will never take charge. That is just not what I do. You can give me the charge and I'll do right with it, but I will never take charge. I will earn the charge. I will do the work to make sure you can trust me if I am in charge. But I'm not gonna be the type to be like, sit your ass down and do whatever the fuck I want. I am the type that I would much rather you trust that I can lead us and we kind of find our equilibrium inside that as opposed to me forcing my will on you unnecessarily or non-consensually. That is me. Whole bunch of comments coming in. Panthro said that equals good D, confident, makes me feel safe. Got it. I was talking about Jeffrey from Fresh Prince. Oh, got it. Oh, the masculine with a little sass. Got it. Holla at your boy said yes. Wicked Fresh Media Group says, I don't associate daddy with anyone I wouldn't let dominate me sexually, so I don't know how to separate daddy from sex. Okay. Is there a way to for you, Panthro, because you said you added safety to the chat. Is there a way for someone to make you feel safe before they have sex with you? Or does the safety component of daddy come out during sex? And that's the only way you see it. Let me know in the chat. Official E says, daddy makes you feel safe. Daddy is into your pleasure as well outside the bedroom. Daddy in a relationship makes you his priority. Daddy makes the first move. Daddy is saying, I'm your protector. I was with you up until that daddy makes the first move. I'm here for it. Winter Minute says, you can't take sex out of the term daddy. It came from sexual attraction to a body type or a yet be defined energy. I think you can. I think you can. Like I interviewed someone. This isn't not filmed, but I had a conversation with someone who has a sir. And he calls, and daddy is the term they use. They do not have sex. One of them lives in the Eastern time zone. One of them lives states away, right? But that's his daddy. That is his sir. And their relationship is not built on a foundation of sex. Their relationship is built on a foundation of camaraderie and daddy sir, daddy boy dynamics are just how their puzzle pieces fit together in a way that works for them. I don't think daddy is a innately sexual term in our culture, or at least it doesn't have to be. There are many times where someone feels like I'm daddy because I make them feel safe, because I am the provider, because I'm the protector, because I am the leader in whatever. People think I'm daddy because I like to drive. If I'm going somewhere, I will pick you up. I will open the door for you. I will pay the check. without you asking me. A lot of things, a lot of people think that those qualities make me a daddy long before sex. And in a lot of instances, without sex having to ever be entered into the equation. I don't think daddy and sexuality are irrevocably linked. But I do believe that a lot of people's foray into daddy is through sex. A lot of people's debut into what a daddy is or could be for them happens because of their sexual expression. I just don't think it needs to stay that way. Panther says, especially confidence in and out of the bedroom, and be themselves as well. Yep. Wicked Fresh Media Group says, I'm a switch. I like a battle for dominance. You gotta earn the daddy title by taking it from me, but watch your back because I will take it back. So then you're a daddy. Because if you have the daddy title, that means you're a daddy. And then if I got to take it from you, that means that you're going to make me the daddy. But also, I think two daddies can be, depending on how they negotiate it, I think two daddies can happen. Jay Rivera said, hey, Jay, everything is so damn hypersexualized in our community. Daddy is energy that affirms and protects. I agree. I think daddy can exist long before or without sex ever being in the chat. It's just, but I do think like if I'm out with people and somebody calls me daddy, then the rest of the world is just going to be assuming that I'm the top, I'm all this other stuff. But those definitions do not have to be so static and binary, I don't think. Dabble says there's also daddy in the title term, like in kink or leather spaces, like daddy so and so. Yes. Like we've had Daddy Rod on this show. However, there are several Daddy Rods in culture. Daddy Rodney, Daddy Roderick, I know several Daddy Rods. But the irony is the daddy that I'm thinking of, he does go by Daddy Rod. I've never had sex with him, but he gives such daddy energy. He's an older gentleman. I don't know what his sexual position is. I have never tried to have sex with him, but I look at him and be like, yep, that's pretty daddy to me. Okay. I think that's the perfect time to take a break. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Do you know your HIV status? When you do, you can take control of your sexual health. HIV self-tests give you the power to decide when and where to test. You just swab and stick it in the tube. Test in the privacy of your own space. You can set a timer, sit back, and wait. In as little as 20 minutes, you'll know your results. No matter your test results, you have a community waiting to support you.
I love being able to test where I want.
I love that it's confidential and quick.
You gotta love free.
It makes me feel empowered.
When I show myself love, I show my community love.
It's important to know my status.
It's important to know your status.
It's cool to know,
If we all get tested, we can stop HIV together. Learn more about HIV testing, including free HIV self-tests, at cdc.gov/HIV self-testing.
Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. Before we head out, let's comment on comments. Hit it. Remember, the comments keep the vibes going through the roof on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. If you want to add your piece to the conversation, just go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join us live on the show. The link is pinned in the comments. I do want to go through a couple of these. Winter Menace just said, kink isn't all about sex. Daddy boy dynamics is kink. Kinks don't just exist in the bedroom. It sounds like we overuse the word and associate regular qualities. Okay, I see that. Carlos LaFour said, Jay, are you a submissive top brat tamer? I feel like the Dom brat is right up your alley. Am I a submissive top? Yes, I can be. I can be a submissive top. I am not a brat tamer. I do not have energy for a bratty bottom or a bratty partner. I feel like the Dom brat is right up your alley. No. For those who don't know what these terms mean, a brat tamer, brat is usually someone who wants dominance taken away from them. They are going to have something to say about everything, and they want to be put in their place consensually. A submissive top, as the word would say, is a top, a penetrative partner who can be submissive at times or primarily. I am not either of those. I'm not a brat tamer, nor am I a dom brat. But thank you for the question, Carlos. Before you know, you have a special place in my heart. We do have a caller waiting. Hey, caller. Hey, caller. Where you
Yeah,
from? For everyone
what's
else,
going on?
where you from? What's your name?
Donnie from Brooklyn, New York.
Hey, Donnie from Brooklyn, New York. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. I'm in Virginia right now. Been enjoying the stream.
I'm glad.
Look, this topic has had me going through it.
Uh-oh. Tell me why.
Nah, cause honestly, I definitely feel like there's room there's room for like daddyisms, right? And mass for mass, femme for mass, or whatever. I get the whole thing. I do feel like there's a place for masculine men or tops being tops and bottoms being bottoms. I do feel like though, as far as tops are concerned, a lot of times when I get reached out to by tops, they try to make me the bottom, but then it kind of backfires on them, and so then you hear the bottoms talking about, all the tops are becoming versatile. Well, I think it's just because the whole mass for mass thing exists. You know what I'm saying? Tops do be wanting more masculine guys sometimes. And that and in that they sometimes fall victim to kind of conforming a little bit to the whole versatile nature of things. I don't know. I just feel like there's room for everybody to be themselves, and I think people need to give gay men the ability to just be gay and do whatever it is that they want to do at whatever moment it is that they want to do it.
So I thank you for that. I have a very unique perspective. I don't know if it's very unique. Let me not say that, but I do have a unique perspective on individuals who like masculinity. I think that a lot of us as black men want to feel safe. We want someone to protect us because so much of our life is spent unprotected. So much of our life is spent outside, just, trying to figure shit out on our own. And I really do believe that most of us want to feel safe in our relationship, in our home, in our lives. And so what comes out though, because we don't have language for to say I need to be safe, what comes out is I want a masculine man because our culture says that masculinity creates safety when really it doesn't have to. Um and I think to the same end, a lot of us like daddies because again, black men want to be safe. And daddy, masculine, top, all of these are just shorthand ways of saying please make me feel safe. But we don't want to say
That's
that.
real.
So we just say I need a masculine man, or I need a daddy, or I need an older dude, or I need a top, or I need all this other stuff. When really the underpinnings of that is we want to feel safe.
That's real. That is true.
Do you get
That is
that? Do
true.
people think you're a daddy?
I get daddy a lot. I get daddy a lot. But I like I was saying in the chat, I do like the give and take of being a switch. I like the push and pull. I'm a little bit of a brat and a brat tamer in some respects.
Okay.
And I kind of do like that battle for dominance type of thing. It kind of, that turns me on, to be quite frank. Um,
No shade there.
and
I love that for you. I don't
yeah,
know
and
that it would fit my aesthetic, but I love that for you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. And so, what Dominique was saying earlier about um there being a top shortage, I get where she's coming from. I get where they're coming from. Don't want to misgender. I get where they're coming from, um, because bottoms do need tops. I agree to that, and tops need bottoms. But I
I think
do
we all
see.
need bottoms. I think everybody
Yeah,
is better off with a good bottom in their life.
yeah, and like personally speaking, I don't like to link with bottoms or with tops because there's always that, you know, I don't like to feel like I'm being just used. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel like I'm just of service to someone and that's it. Because what about what I need? What about what's best for me?
Okay, Effie.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like I want someone to be thinking about what I want too, and I typically only get that from other diverse guys.
And
No
the
shade.
irony is, use me to keep on using me to use me up. Being
Yeah,
used is a fetish of mine. It is a scene that I am into. I am a service, whatever role I am. Again, I primarily top, but I like being of service. And that usually comes out in being submissive and all these other things. But I do think that I do think that black men want safety, but we also want purpose in our relationships. And all these are just new ways of saying that we want what is my job here? What am I here to do?
right.
And how can I enhance the life that we are creating together? I do think that black men have that language. It's just we don't have awareness that there are other ways that these things can come up without limiting it to I want a top who's masculine, who got a big dick, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I think we need broader language. We need a thesaurus for these things so that we can find better words to more adequately express what we're trying to say.
Preach, brother, preach.
Thank you so much, Donnie. I appreciate you.
No doubt.
And so, thank you for that. Remember, you can go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join me live on the show. I There's a whole conversation. I only saw one comment while Donnie and I were talking, but the comment that I saw said "Winter Minutes is shaking the table," and I'm here for it. I don't know what's happening in the comments. I have one conversation with somebody, and next thing you know, this whole thing. I hear you about not being used, but sometimes use me, nigga. I want to be used. Keep on using me till you use me up. But also, no, I ain't even gonna touch on that. I will say that one thing that it resonates strongly with me, this whole conversation, is I'm learning or figuring out rather that black men, what we want, what we need in culture, in dating, in relationship, is we need better language at how to communicate our wants and desires. The unfortunate part about a lot of our story, a lot of the stories that we've recounted in this show, a lot of the dialogue that I've seen in the comments, a lot of the dialogue that we have on several episodes is black men don't have sufficient ways to say what they want, what they need out of a relationship. And we just allow ourselves to get sucked into certain language because of what we think it'll bring with it. We allow ourselves to say, I want a top, when really it's, I want someone who will dominate me. Or I need masculinity, when really I need safety. Or they'll say, I want a bottom, but really I need nurturing. Or I'd like feminine men, but really I need comfort. And I think we do need better language at how to communicate these things so that we can have more intentional interactions with each other. That's what I think. All right, and that's what I'm learning from y'all. Okay, teammates. I do think that is a great place to end it. This has been uh Official E last comment on the board. It says that communication is key. Communication is key as long as we have the right words to fill up that conversation. But I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. We'll be right back here with another episode of Dear Black Gay Men Podcast Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We have changed the time because I listened, I didn't judge, and y'all told me 9 works better. For more exclusive content, join us on Substack at dearblackgaymen.substack.com. The link is in the description. I do appreciate you all more than I could ever express. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.